Want to know how to smell as good as those expensive designer fragrances without spending hundreds of dollars? Don't worry, I got you. Unless you've been living under a rock, you know that clone fragrances are taking over the fragrance game. But not all clones are created equal. Some are straight gas and some are just trash. But my job is to make sure that you don't waste any money. So I'm giving you the 10 best winter clone fragrances for men. We finna kick this off with a fragrance that's never been seen before on the channel. It's Orientica's EXO exclusive Old Fashioned. This is a clone of Angel Share, and I know what you're thinking. You're probably like, what happened to Calmer? You loved it so much. Well, all that comes to an end now since this is in the picture. You see, this is better than Lattafa's Camera, but it comes at a more expensive price. The top notes introduce you to the spicy, boozy, slight fruitiness this fragrance has, with notes such as bourbon, bitter orange, cinnamon, and plum. In the middle, there's iris giving off this elegant floralness, which amps the sweetness of the next note, which is myrrh. That also gives us a resinous type of warmth. The end notes consist of tonka bean, vanilla, and sandalwood, which all make this scent creamy, sweet, and a little woody. Listen, let me tell you what I imagine when I smell this fragrance. Let it dry down for a little bit first though. I imagine a sophisticated man in a black suit taking his woman out at night downtown to a cozy jazz club. The only reason why you choose Calmer over this is either the price or you just want to smell more gourmand. This next fragrance has my favorite colorway because it has that oil spill type of color, which is none other than Club de Nuit Untold. This fragrance is inspired by Francis Kurkdjian's Baccarat Rouge 540. Aside from this being a really good winter fragrance, I feel like it could also be worn casually or just saved for special occasions. The beginning notes are florals that start off spicy and sweet, which is jasmine and saffron. In the middle, there's amberwood, giving off a little bit of sweet warmth along with some rich woodiness, and ambergris enhancing the woody smell while giving this some earthiness. The bottom, there's fir resin intensifying the spice and woodiness along with the cedar. Alright, look, let's talk man to man, alright? Be honest with me, are you choosing the $40 fragrance including tax, or are you picking the $475 fragrance? Listen, I'm not trashing you for your decisions because I like expensive stuff too, don't get me wrong. But like for me personally, I want those Freddy Krueger dunks. But there's just no way in hell I'm paying $16,000 for that shoe, bro. I'd rather just get a rep, not gonna lie. You really think about it, but both them sneaks are $8,000 each, bro. That shit is crazy to me. This upcoming fragrance has been described to be a unique and addicting fragrance that is none other than Kiss Don't Be Shy from Alexandria. This is inspired by Killian's infamous Love Don't Be Shy. In my tier list video, I always talked about how like fragrances could either be too light or too intense. With this, it is fucking perfect. I know TikTok's about to get banned, but in the case that it doesn't, y'all TikTokers really need to start showing love to this. Cause this to Lattafa is just straight belt to ass. This is just so much better. Respectfully, just I'll put that out there, just respectfully, cause we're in a competitive space. This fragrance pops out very sweet and gourmand from the marshmallow and caramel, which is followed up by all types of floral notes, like orange blossom, jasmine, and honeysuckle, making this an elegant, flawless fragrance. Listen, I mean no disrespect when I say this, but fuck designer fragrances and niche fragrances. This is my favorite gourmand scent of the year. Now I know you was probably typing away to Alexandria's website and was like, damn bro, $100? But trust me when I say that you get nothing but quality out of this, and it is so worth the price. This fragrance coming up isn't gourmand, but is warm and what I'd imagine a well put together man would smell like, which is Sphinx Elixir. Now I'm gonna be honest with you, there isn't a whole lot of information on what inspired this fragrance. There's no fragrance to go off of. The closest thing I got is Imperial Valley Gissa, and if we're keeping it 100, I'm not too familiar with that shit. At the top, there's bergamot making whoever's wearing it fresh as can be, and Davenum giving off this earthy herbaceous scent. In the middle is where it's really masculine, with notes like musk, ambergris, and vetiver, adding a woody aroma while giving a spicy lead to the base, which consists of pink pepper giving more spice, and frankincense adding on to the warmth and rich woodiness. We'll do another imagination spray test real quick. Let that bit dry. I can imagine a classy, distinguished gentleman wearing a monocle with a smoke pipe in his mouth wearing this type of scent. Like I said earlier, it's my job to make sure you don't waste money. Since there wasn't a fragrance to go off of, I suggest you get like one of the travel sizes that are like $23 or like the samples, just to get a feel for this and see if you like it. The fragrance coming up kind of reminds me of PDM Sedley if it had a little bit more kick, and that is our Moth's Club de Nuit Press Shoe. I had to Google translate that word, that shit was too big for me. I feel like this is heavily mistaken to be seen as a clone of Creed Absolute Aventus, when it really should be seen as another Creed Aventus clone, which in all honesty, I feel like is way better than Club de Nuit Intensement. The introductory notes start out with lemon, bergamot, and pineapple, giving it this fruity freshness. In the middle, there's earthy and green notes, such as lily of the valley and oak moss, with woody notes leading into its anchor notes, which is cedarwood, leather, patchouli, and ambroxan, and other notes, coming together to enhance the woody and earthy notes while smoothing this out. I know before I said I put Club de Nuit Intensement on par with Creed Aventus, and that was before I figured that this this fragrance existed, but now that I know, oh yeah, this whole trading places with that one. Next fragrance coming up is coming from the house Lattafa. It's Velvet Oud. Now I personally think that this is one of the smoothest and warmest fragrance from Lattafa. In my tier list video, I put this at A tier because it's a good clone of Tuscan Leather, but there was like a mixed match of people that were saying Ombre Leather EDP or Tuscan Leather, and I gotta say this is more like Ombre Leather. This fragrance starts out fresh and spicy with notes like cardamom and bergamot. In the middle consists of violet leaf and patchouli, giving off some earthiness and giving this depth. The base shows the Ombre Leather EDP inspiration, with notes such as suede giving it that velvety smoothness. Also oud and oak moss adding more woody and earthiness. Fuck all those gourmand fragrances. If you want something that's velvety, smooth, and woody, I ain't gonna lie, Velvet Oud the one. This other fragrance is another one from Alexandria. It is Fructus Virginis. This is inspired by Tom Ford's Lost Cherry, which I'm a big fan of that fragrance line. They hit you with back-to-back cherry sweetness, with notes such as black cherry, cherry syrup, and cherry liqueur. Yeah, they're getting a little fancy now. If you've ever had maraschino cherries, this is exactly what it smells like. In the heart is where it starts to get balanced out, with notes such as almond and jasmine, making this feel inviting. The end note is tonka beans, making this creamy and giving a vanilla-like sweetness, making you, in their words, almost smell sinfully delicious. This is the ultimate gourmand fragrance. I mean, from beginning to the dry down, you don't have to worry about shit. It's great. That last fragrance was gourmand, but it had some balance to it. This next one is just strictly gourmand with nothing balancing it, which you already know I love. It's Italian Caramel. This is based off of Xerjoff's Italica, which I've never smelled before, but based off this, that shit gotta be amazing. This fragrance opens up out the gate sweet and smelling delectable, from the caramel, sugar, and roasted almonds, giving this a warm, nutty aroma. In the heart, there's toffee and cream, making this even sweeter, smoother, and giving it this milky vibe. The end consists of woody notes, enhancing and balancing the sweetness of this fragrance. This fragrance is supposed to, quote, make you feel like a kid who snuck into a bakery and got the secret recipe for the most indulgent cookies. Now, two things. I don't feel like I've been to a bakery in my life, but this do smell like some good ass cookies and milk. Coming up is my favorite bottle design because it reminds me of the Erd tree from Elden Ring. It's Eternal Oud. This is a clone of Francis Kurkdjian's Grand Soir, but as a fragrance alone, it's just a really good woody aroma. This doesn't start out the gate woody, they ease it in. It starts out with plum and grapefruit, giving it this luxurious sweetness. Then this becomes exquisite and elegant from the floral notes, like heliotrope and orchids, enhancing its end notes, which is vanilla, amber, benzoin, and tonka beans, giving this warmth and a vanilla-like sweetness, along with labdamen and oud, giving this a leathery-like, deep, woody depth. Lattafa executed this perfectly and smoothly, and with this, it'll turn your girl into a tree hugger. Now, I don't know what the fuck that means. I just know that this fragrance is woody and good. Coming up is one that smells exactly like the fragrance it clones. This fragrance is Al Haramain Oud Elixir. This is inspired by the iconic Tom Ford's Tuscan Leather and replicates the scent so well at a cheaper cost. In the beginning, it starts out with labdamen, ylang-ylang, and geranium, which gives it this leathery-like aroma that's warm and sweet. In the heart, there's rose making this smoother, cedar giving this rich woodiness and resinous warmth, and patchouli giving a deep earthy depth. In the base, there's amber adding on to that resinous warmth, along with benzoin, which they both add to the sweetness. Look, it's very simple. It's either the $100 fragrance that smells exactly like the other, or the fragrance that came out in 2007 when I was 2 years old. That's $300 to $445 now. Either way, I respect your decision. Tuscan Leather is really good, and so is this. But maybe you're into collecting more affordable designer fragrances? You should go watch my Why I Sell Myself Le Parfum first impression video.